Right now, as you're watching this, a spacecraft carrying humans is on its way back from the Moon. NASA's Artemis II mission is already rewriting history, sending astronauts farther than any human has traveled in over 50 years. And while the world watches this mission unfold, there are incredible details most people don't know. From record-breaking distances to cutting-edge technology to deeply personal human stories, here are 10 fascinating facts about Artemis II. Fact 1. First crewed deep space mission since Apollo. Artemis II is the first mission since the Apollo 17 mission to carry humans beyond low Earth orbit. For over 50 years, human spaceflight has remained close to Earth, aboard stations like the ISS. Now, humanity has stepped back into deep space. Fact 2. The farthest humans have traveled. At its peak, the spacecraft is reaching around 400,171 kilometers from Earth. This makes Artemis II the farthest human journey ever, surpassing the record for human spaceflight's farthest distance previously set by the Apollo 13 mission in 1970. From this distance, Earth appears as a tiny, fragile dot, a perspective very few humans have ever experienced. Fact 3. The crew, new era of diversity in space exploration. The Artemis II crew includes Reed Wiseman, a former Navy pilot and previous ISS commander, bringing leadership and deep spaceflight experience. Victor Glover, a naval aviator and test pilot, and the first black astronaut assigned to a lunar mission. Christina Koch, who holds the record for the longest single spaceflight by a woman, with over 300 days in space, the first woman on a deep space mission. Jeremy Hansen, representing Canada, a highly trained fighter pilot and the first Canadian to journey to the Moon. Together, they represent decades of experience and a new era of diversity in space exploration. The average age of the Artemis II astronauts is approximately 49 years old, making them about a decade older than the average Apollo-era astronauts. This crew, widely noted as representing Generation X, is characterized by extensive experience, reflecting a modern shift towards higher mid-career experience levels in space exploration. Fact 4. iPhone 17 Pro Max in deep space. For the first time in history, astronauts are using a fully modern smartphone in deep space. The Artemis II crew is equipped with the iPhone 17 Pro Max, marking the first time an iPhone has been fully qualified for extended use beyond Earth orbit. But these are not ordinary phones. All wireless systems, including cellular, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, are completely disabled, keeping the devices in permanent airplane mode. Instead of communication, their primary role is documentation. Astronauts are using them to capture photos and videos of Earth, the Moon, and daily life inside the spacecraft, essentially turning them into powerful personal computing devices in space. To prevent them from becoming dangerous floating objects in microgravity, the phones are secured with Velcro or stored inside suit pockets. But smartphones are only part of the story. For professional imaging, the crew relies on space-proven equipment, including the Nikon D5 DSLR, a camera known for its durability, low light performance, and resistance to radiation. It has been extensively tested by NASA and remains the primary imaging tool on board. In fact, Commander Reed Wiseman used the D5 to capture the stunning Hello World image, featuring Earth, glowing auroras, and even Venus in the distance. Alongside it, newer mirrorless systems like the Nikon Z9 are being tested, as well as GoPro cameras for additional perspectives. From pocket-sized smartphones to professional space-grade cameras, Artemis II is capturing deep space like never before. Fact 5. The plush mascot called Rise. Artemis II includes a zero-gravity indicator, a plush toy named Rise. But it wasn't chosen randomly. NASA organized a global competition involving thousands of students who submitted design ideas. The winning concept, Rise, was selected because it symbolized humanity's upward journey, rising beyond Earth, rising toward the Moon, rising into the future. When the toy begins to float inside the spacecraft, it marks the moment the crew enters microgravity. A simple object carrying a powerful message. Fact 6. Orion and global engineering. The crew is flying aboard the Orion spacecraft. But Orion is not built by NASA alone. Its European service module, developed by the European Space Agency, provides propulsion, electrical power, oxygen and water, thermal control. This means Orion is a true international spacecraft, combining American and European engineering. Fact 7. Lunar Flyby. Historic moments. Artemis II is not landing on the Moon. Instead, it is performing a free return trajectory, looping around the Moon and heading back to Earth. But during this flyby, something extraordinary happens. Astronauts capture an Earthset image, Earth slowly disappearing behind the Moon. A modern counterpart to the famous Earthrise photo from Apollo 8 mission. At one point, as the spacecraft passes behind the Moon, communication with Earth is temporarily lost. For nearly 40 minutes, there is complete silence. During this phase, the spacecraft also experiences a form of solar eclipse as the Moon blocks the Sun. Moments like these remind us how far and how isolated the crew truly is. Fact 8. Why this mission matters. Every system being tested has a purpose. Life support ensures astronauts can survive longer missions. Navigation, critical for precise lunar landings. Communication, must work even behind the Moon. Radiation protection, essential for deep space travel. Manual control, backup in case automation fails. Artemis II is not just a mission. It's a validation of everything needed to land humans on the Moon again. Fact 9. Proposed names for newly observed craters. During the mission, the crew identified what appeared to be previously unrecognized lunar surface features. They proposed names for these newly observed craters. One was suggested to be named Carol, after the late wife of Commander Reed Wiseman. She was a neonatal intensive care unit registered nurse who passed away from cancer in 2020 at age 46. The Artemis II crew described a bright crater on the Moon, stating, "It's a bright spot on the Moon, and we would like to call it Carol." Another was proposed as Integrity, the same name astronauts given to the Orion spacecraft. The name represents the thousands of individuals, engineers and technicians whose dedicated, combined effort or integrated work makes the deep space flight possible. These names are not yet officially confirmed, but they reflect something deeply human. Even in deep space, we carry our memories, our values, and the people we love. Fact 10. The rocket, power of Artemis. Artemis II launched aboard the Space Launch System. This rocket produces more thrust than the Saturn V. It uses 4 RS-25 core engines from the Space Shuttle era, 2 massive solid rocket boosters, liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen as fuel. Together, they generate around 8.8 million pounds of thrust. While Orion represents international collaboration, the SLS represents the evolution of American heavy-lift rockets, built on decades of experience from the shuttle program. Bonus: real moments from inside Orion. Even in deep space, not everything is about systems and science. Some moments are simply human. The Nutella jar floated in zero gravity during a live broadcast of the Artemis II mission, occurring roughly 4 minutes before the crew broke the record for the farthest distance humans have ever traveled from Earth. A simple, almost playful moment that reminded millions watching back on Earth that these astronauts are not just explorers, they're people. On the next day, the crew of Orion also established communication with astronauts aboard the International Space Station. The call occurred while Orion was returning from its lunar flyby, allowing the two crews to discuss deep space travel. 2 human crews, in 2 different spacecraft, connected across space. One orbiting Earth, the other traveling far beyond it. A quiet but powerful reminder: humanity is no longer confined to one place. But this mission is only the beginning. The future of Artemis is already taking shape. Upcoming missions like Artemis III and Artemis IV aim to push even further, from testing advanced landing systems to building a long-term human presence on the Moon. These missions are expected to involve not only NASA, but also private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin. However, plans in space exploration are constantly evolving. Budgets, contracts, and priorities can change. But one thing remains clear: humanity is preparing not just to visit the Moon again, but to stay. And beyond that, lunar stations and gateways, and eventually, Mars. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to support our mission to explore the universe and keep the spirit of curiosity alive.